What's up, everybody? Alright guys, reminder, it's going to be in sub only for the remainder of Cooking with Frag, and then we'll go back to normal format. It has begun. Cosby Puddin' Pop. Best name on Twitch TV, right there. Sup, Joy Rock, Kofa, Zombie Ron Swanson, Shocked. Hello, everybody. Yes, I'll be playing a video game afterwards. That's right. Bump up some 90 jock jams when he goes live. I'm good on that, but thanks. What's up, Randolph, Stiffy, Haste? Good to see you, Stereo. Hello, everybody. We're going to be doing a very simple preparation today. I'll give you the story behind this preparation. When I worked at the Golf and Country Club, we used to have to make tea sandwiches. We made lots of tea sandwiches for ladies' cards parties, and this curry chicken salad, it has many variations. I'll talk about some of the different variations. Lots of different variations, but I like the very simple one. So all it really is green onions, chicken, curry, sweet chili sauce, and a little bit of salt. That's it. Mayonnaise to bind as well. But you can add cashews and raisins and stuff. We'll talk about the stuff you can add. But we would literally make like 8 times as much as, well, we were going to use for whatever party, because all the cooks love this stuff. It's a very simple, very tasty salad. So just to get started, I'm just going to cut the green onions so that they're out of the way and I can use raw chicken on the cutting board. It's got some nasty pieces on them. Alright, so when I cut green onions, I like to do a severe bias cut. It's up to you what you want to do, but how you do that is most people just chop them like this into little rings, and that's all good and well. Do the exact same thing, except you just tilt your knife 45 degrees, and then you get nice big long pieces. I find that to be better on the palate. You get more flavor out of it, in my personal opinion. Some people don't like big chunks of green onions, and that's totally cool. You don't have to do it that way. Oh, time to sharpen my knife again. So this is literally about the simplest salad I know how to make that tastes really good. If it was a little bit better for you, I'd probably eat this all the time. It's not bad. The only real fat in it is the mayonnaise. There's worse things you can eat. It's about the equivalent of eating a sandwich anyways. But if you don't know the joys of sweet chili sauce, this stuff, I highly recommend you check it out. It is this stuff is absolutely amazing, and it has so many good purposes. It's not necessarily spicy at all. It's very, very sweet. I can't really put my finger on what exactly it tastes like, but it is a great ingredient to have. Yeah, it just makes everything taste better. You get a larger piece on your tongue. What's up, Moonasee? Good to see you. Yeah, not sriracha. I don't like sriracha personally. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get poaching water on. Poaching is a cooking technique. Basically, you're gradually cooking something in water. Classic poaching temperature is 180 degrees. We'll talk about what 180 degrees looks like in the water, but I'd also recommend using a thermometer, as I always do. What 180 degrees looks like in water is a very, very lazy bubble. Well before boil. Water boils at 212 Fahrenheit. So it's that sweet spot where you just have a nice lazy bubble. Now, for Washington State, chicken has to cook to 165. The reason that you use poaching is it keeps everything very moist. You're not really imparting any flavor to the chicken. We're adding everything that adds flavor afterwards, but it'll leave it nice and moist and delicious. You can poach a lot of things. It's usually fish. Sometimes you poach chicken. You'll pretty much never poach beef because it's just a bad idea. Yes, the Cookign Coach graphics are amazing, I know. Good substitute mayonnaise for this if you don't like mayonnaise very much. I'm not going to say Miracle Whip, but you could just use oil. You could just use some canola oil to get everything, you know, bound up. There's plenty of things you can substitute for. You could even substitute breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs will, yes, they'll become soggy, but they'll also act like a binder as well. So a little oil and breadcrumbs will achieve the same thing. A lot of people don't like mayonnaise, and that's fine. In this purpose, it's really not like you're eating mayonnaise. It's just to bind everything together. It's not a very mayonnaise-heavy salad. I would not recommend using ranch dressing as a sub for mayo, but you can give it a shot if you want to. Ranch has a lot of dill and other stuff in it, which I don't think would mesh very well with this in particular. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean our chicken. We're going to have some downtime, so I'll talk to you guys during this one. This is so simple, it's almost silly, but hey, some of the best things are simple. Alright. Now, since we're going to poach and then cut them directly, we want to make sure these are cleaned pretty well. Talk about the different places you want to clean a chicken breast. Come on now. I really hate the feel of raw chicken. It's kind of disgusting to me, but hey, it is what it is. Okay, there's a couple places you need to check on chicken. Interesting. It's an odd cut, but okay. A couple places you need to check. One is right in this groove right here. This is where the wing connects. There's always going to be a piece of sinew or something, even sometimes a bone chunk in there. The second place you want to check, and I don't see any on this one, but sometimes there's a big ridge of sinew running down this side. That's where it's connecting to, well, basically the ribs. So that's what you really need to get. These little pieces of fat aren't a big deal. We're going to trim them off anyways, but I mean it's not gonna hurt anything. What's going to hurt stuff is this big chunk of nasty sinew where it connects to the wing. I'll make sure we get all of that off. Of course, you probably won't taste this stuff, but if you get a big piece of bone in your sandwich, you're not going to be too happy. That's how you break a tooth. This little piece right here is one of my pet peeves. Like if I get that in my food at a restaurant, that is one of the only things that'll make me send a dish back to the kitchen, is that piece of meat right there. Usually happens in pasta and stuff because they end up using chicken quote-unquote scraps for the pasta. So if I get that piece, not a happy camper. Thank you very much for the sub, Donald Man. Thank you everybody does sub the channel. I don't use sub only as the purpose of excluding people on Cooking with Frag. It's just more for demonstration purposes, and I have no way to mod the chat. And the couple times I tried to do it without sub only, it was not fun for the mods. So it is what it is. All right, get a good hand washing. Raw chicken's pretty gross. Alright, see if you guys can see that in the camera. You can kind of see the bubbles forming at the bottom of the pan. So I know we're getting close. So once again, the temperature we're shooting for is 180 degrees. Now, the nice thing about poaching is when it's very gentle. We're at about 160. That's why the bubbles are forming. Once it hits 180, you can turn it down to very low temperature and it will stabilize there. If you're making like a chicken stock or a beef stock and leaving it on overnight, what you do is you get it up to 180 on full blast, and then you turn it down about as low as possible, and it'll stay at 180 overnight. So that's if you're using a gas burner. It's a very low flame. Electrical, I can't tell you, but it's probably not very hot at all. The nice thing about electrical is it does hold. If you can find the right setting, it holds its heat very well. Sweet, delicious coffee. Oh, that Dapper Capper. Enjoy using that. I always see a Dapper Capper somewhere. No matter where I go on Twitch TV, I see a Dapper Capper. "82 degrees Celsius, thank you. I do not know my temperatures in Celsius, but thank you for the conversion. So 180 degrees Fahrenheit is poaching temperature, or simmering temperature. That's when a simmer starts. Some things are poached a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but that's pretty much the gold standard. There you go, Ned. That Dune reference too strong, sir. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm quite tired today, but I feel good. I'm well rested, so no complaints. Okay, now we have some bubbles coming up from the bottom, so I think we're right about there. Oh yeah, that's we're like right at 180. And now these chicken breasts are going to take a few minutes to cook, so we'll have some downtime. And then of course we'll have to cook them and cool them, and then we can talk about the different ingredients we can add and stuff, what we're going to do next week and all that goodness. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down from full blast. Add the chicken. We're going to clean up, and we'll chat. It's pretty hard to mess up poaching, too. I mean, yeah, you can. If you do overcook it, it's not like just because of some water it's not going to get dry, but at the same time, it is pretty hard to overcook something so heavily in poaching that chicken, anyways, fish is pretty easy to overcook. But chicken-wise, you're not going to destroy your chicken by doing that. Everything's going to be fine. That later, just want to get all the gross juice off of it. I'll definitely show poaching again at some point, probably with a fish product, but I thought that'd be a good, easy technique to enter. If you're going to make poached eggs, a little bit different, Same concept, but I don't know. You use the technique a lot differently. I'm not a fan of poached eggs myself. Much rather they just be over easy. But poaching is a very easy way to cook things. If you can do like a chicken salad, or you're gonna do whatever. Yes, Ryan. Very, very well said, sir. Not quite the same poaching. You get the idea, though. Kill a penny because on this instance, well, one, it's freezing outside and my barbecue is gross right now because it's been raining. But the reason that we're going to poach this is to retain the most moisture possible out of the chicken. We don't need that charred flavor on the chicken to make the salad any better. The ingredients are going to do that for themselves. So we're just trying to retain moisture. I'm just going to stir them around a little bit. You don't want to leave 2 points of the chicken touching all the time, because then it'll create kind of a thicker portion inside the water, which makes it take longer to cook. So you just want to stir them a little bit. No, I am not salting the water. I'll add salt to the end product. Usually when you add salt to water, the point of adding salt to water, is to make the temperature stabilize. And in this case, we don't need to. I'll have all the time in the world to season it when it's in the bowl. So all the it does it. Yeah, it raises the boiling point, so it actually makes it boil at a higher temperature. The rumor is that salt makes water boil faster. That's not true. It helps it hold a boil better. We'll do some grilling this summer when it's actually nice outside. I can make that happen, but right now, not really realistic for me to grill, unless I want to set off my smoke alarm, which I don't. So poaching is a good technique if you want to retain moisture in something. It's not a great way to add flavor. Obviously, there's exceptions to that rule, like you can poach pears in red wine and stuff like that. Those are very flavorful. You can have very flavorful poaching liquid. But in the time it takes to poach something, you're not going to impart that much flavor into whatever you're cooking. Dude, Kofa, our summers are beautiful here, man. I don't know what you're talking about. For like 2.5 months, it's wonderful. Well, the idea is I support myself through the stream by the end of 2 years. We're well on our way. Yeah, it really does. It really does, Matt. I don't mind the rain at all, but like, oh man, we've had some beautiful days the past couple days. And during the summer, it's like 70, 75, sunny, a little bit of wind. So good. You haven't much mess at all, Donarak. We just talked about poaching. We put chicken in water that's 180 degrees. We chop some green onions on a bias, so they're nice and large. Bias means just on a severe angle. And then we talked about the joys of chili sauce. This is literally like the easiest thing you cook. If I ever made a cookbook, this wouldn't be in it because it's so stupid and simple. But it's literally one of my guilty pleasure foods that we used to eat all the time in the kitchen. Like every time this recipe got made for whatever, we'd make 6 or 7 times as much because all the cooks love to eat chicken curry salad sandwiches. This is the simplest preparation of it, but you can add cashews to it, you can add onions, you could add raisins, you can add whatever you want to the salad. It's going to taste good. I prefer the very simple preparation myself. Okay. So this batch of 4 chicken breasts is probably going to last me like a whole day and a half. That's literally it. We got the water to 180 degrees. We added chicken. We cut green onions. That's it. I would not recommend bacon for this because of the nature of the chili sauce. It's very sweet. I don't. Sure, add bacon if you want to, but classics would be cashews, celery, raisins, um, stuff like that. Grapes would be fine. All right. Definitely starting to firm up here. So cooking temperature for chicken, 165 in Washington State. That's usually what I about stick to. So we have it in 180 degree water. So it's going to take a minute to get there, but not too long. So we'll just pop a thermometer in it and see what's happening. So we're at like 100. And 100, once things go past 100 degrees, they heat up much quicker after that. Okay. I also showed you how to clean the chicken, how to find the wing joint. Well, that's pretty basic stuff. You don't want wing joint inside of the chicken. At the top of the breast of the chicken, there's a little groove. There's a little groove on the inside, and it'll look all white and filmy because that's where the wing connects, and that's not what you want. What type of cheese would you add to this dish? That's an interesting question. Maybe some feta or something, not very much cheese. Welcome, Pucole. Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated. If you have a wing joint in your chicken, you're going to have bad time. That's where bones and there's a large piece of sinew. Pretty much anywhere where joints connect, there's going to be a lot of sinew and film that you just don't want. Well, you're better than me, Paladin. I can't do that conversion at all because I am ignorant American. That's not true. I can do the conversion, but I always mess it up. It's really weird when you work in kitchens, like different recipes from different places. You have to do a lot of conversions. Like a lot of baking stuff is done in grams, where everything else is done in ounces, and you know, get the oddball recipe that has metric stuff. But of course, I'm sure it's the exact opposite if you work across seas. Boil the chicken in beef stock. There's actually plenty of recipes that do stuff like that. No, Obama, no reason, really. Just the breast, usually more economic to buy. It usually costs less for the meat, and tenderness and honestly the flavor of the chicken is less of a concern. The thigh has the most flavor, in my opinion, probably the most tender piece, but all the flavor is getting added afterwards. So it's really just about getting a bigger piece that's more moist to work with. All right, see, we're getting too hot now. Too hot. Simmer down now. There we go. I'll bet we're close. Obviously, extremely important it's fully cooked because it's going straight into salad after it cools. So if it's not, somebody's gonna get sick. Maybe. All right, we're at 125. So another 40 degrees to go. No big deal. Now this isn't going to carry over cook as much, so I'm going to chop it and cool it. So we want it to get to actually 165 before we do anything. Yeah, they're boneless, skinless breasts. This is absolutely good to cook if you are a noob to cooking. Absolutely. This is very simple. All you need is a thermometer, water, chicken, and a couple things of sauce. Granted, if you buy a boneless chicken breast, you're still going to have to clean them, but that isn't hard. No, 165 is the magic number for poultry in Washington State. Some states it's 155. The difference between a poach and a braise. Okay, poaching is bringing up to temperature completely submerged in water. Braising is covering in about 3/4 of water and cooking for a very long time, hour and a half, 2 hours. What the difference between poaching and braising? Poaching, you're just trying to cook it. Braising, you're taking it past the point of being cooked and then waiting for the proteins to break down. So it's taking like a tougher cut of meat, like a chuck or a shank or something like that, and making it tender where it normally would not be. So braising takes a very long time, and that's the difference between poach and braise. Right on, puke hole. Yeah, you'll really be surprised what you can do if you just try. It can, that sour blood, but honestly, unless you're doing something really fancy, you have to add a lot to poaching liquid to make it do something like that. It's not going to affect the flavor that much. If you're adding braising liquid, yes. If you're adding braising liquid, it's sitting in there for so long and it's bubbling and it's breaking down the proteins and all that stuff. You're going to get a lot more out of a braise. But since this is such a short thing, 15 or 20 minutes, poaching liquid's not as big of a deal. It does make your kitchen smell nice. That's true, no Obama. But braising is where you want to add all those really aggressive flavors. Poaching, not so much. But I hope you all are enjoying these segments. I'm trying to keep them to about an hour or so, per week. So we're trying to do some simpler things. You can do whatever you want, the other saying being. Poaching is just a cooking technique. It's just a cooking technique. You can play around with it all you want. You can poach fish, you can poach chicken. The point of this is just to have a moist piece of meat at the end. That's it. So you can really run with it and do whatever you want. This is just getting the chicken cooked and up to temperature. That's it. What you do after that is it's a blank slate. It is so much more cost effective to cook for yourself. It is. I'm an okay baker, Cosby. I never really had any interest in baking, even in school. I'm much more a savory cook myself. I don't really eat very many sweets. I'll have like 1 or 2 bites of a dessert, and that's I'm good on that. So baking never really interests me that much. No, if you were going to do shredded chicken, it would be a braise, because if you're doing a shredded chicken, you need the protein to shred. So you'd actually need to cook it down to the point where you could shred it. So it would take a much longer time. I shop all over the place. Washington has, yes, you can use cornflakes for breading. They're very good. I unfriended on MySpace. Nice errands. I shop all over the place, and Washington, or especially where I live, has very good produce. Lots of local produce. So, all right, it's a little bit high, but I'm not too worried about it. Come on, chicken. I don't have time to garden right now, Obama. Going to eat you, I mean, if you enjoy what you do, be open, learn as much as you possibly can. Culinary school is extremely overwhelming, but take notes and learn what you want to, because I can guarantee there's many things I learned in culinary school I wish I would have taken notes on to go back and look at. Well, a crock pot is essentially a brazier, ghost wheel. It's the same thing. Um, it cooks very slowly over a long period of time, which is what makes everything tender and shred. So, same technique. I don't really care organic or not. I will buy organic if it looks nicer. It's all about how the produce looks, because how it looks is probably how it's going to taste. So, yes, I will buy organic on some things. Like, for example, if I'm going to buy leeks, the organic leeks always look 10 times nicer than the regular leeks. Yeah, they cost a little bit more, but you're getting more product off of them because they look so much better. No, there won't be any desserts, Isabel. I'm not a baker. I don't like desserts myself. So, 2 years, Big D. Oh man, it is my cursor. My dang, Encryptio. Yeah, shallots can be really hard to find as well. What's another hard one to find? I always have a hard time finding good zucchini. Alright, we're almost there. Come on, guy. Taking a little longer than I wanted, but hey, that's life, right? How long is it gonna cook? It's gonna cook till it's done. Chef in culinary school said that every single time some student asked him, how long do you think it's going to cook for? Until it's done. Until it's done. And it's so true. You can never trust a recipe to tell you how long something's going to take. Nope, not at all, Kilpenny. Here's my personal belief. Yeah, food has a lot of stuff added to it. I believe that the human body is a machine built to process just about anything. So as long as you're not eating a bunch of really bad stuff for you, I try not to worry about preservatives and stuff like that. I eat healthier than most people, but I don't stress the small stuff, so to speak. If you want to cook for yourself, Lel apps, you can learn yourself. You don't need to go to school for that. I mean, really, if you're going to culinary school, it's more because you want a career in cooking, or you want to learn as much as you possibly can. Yeah, you just have to try. That is the first step. The first step is getting over your fear of, oh, I can't cook because I've never cooked before. That is the first step to becoming a good cook, and you'll be really surprised what you can do. Are you going to do it perfectly the first time? Probably not, but you'll realize very quickly what you did wrong. Yes, I have used Worcestershire sauce in any dishes I've made on Iraq, the braising episode. Yeah, I try to do very simple stuff for that purpose only. I know how to make all sorts of super fancy stuff, but trying to relay that to somebody that hasn't cooked before isn't going to do anybody any good. Guys, never mind, we're good. I can't agree to do things right now. I have no idea what I'm going to do next week. I don't have plans, just like my video games. In fact, I think my policy on games now is I'm not going to talk about games at all. It's become a source of frustration for me again, so I'm not going to announce what games I'm going to play or anything like that. Rye chips are super good. Delicious. What's the number one rule? That's right, Cosby Puddin' Pop. Don't talk about Game Club. Number one. All right, we're like there almost. One. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Another 30 seconds. We're pulling these, and then I'm gonna like half chop them and cool them down real quick, so I can chop them the rest of the way. So we're not sitting here for an hour waiting for them to cool. Sure, burnt ham. Let's talk about pots and pans real quick. What the main thing that you look for? I'll pull out a pan right here. The main thing that you look for, I'll pull out a couple so I can talk about the different kinds. See if I have one of my older pans in here. There's a couple different types of pans. The main thing you're looking for is the thickness of the bottom of the pan. That is number one, is the thickness. We'll talk about the different kinds. The thicker the bottom of your pan is, the more accurately it will hold heat. Okay, I don't have my old one, but I can talk about the difference between the two. Like this pot right here just has a flat base. What this is the exact same material that's on the outside. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as it's nice and thick. You can see the thickness on the bevel of the pot. Less important on pots than it is on actual saute pans. Okay, on the saucepan, you can see the inside is obviously non-stick. This is aluminum, and the reason it's aluminum is aluminum conducts heat very quickly. So a pan like this is used for heating things up. So like if you put soup in this and you turn the flame on full heat, it's going to heat up much quicker than the bottom of this one. And I will say with pots and pans, you're going to get what you pay for. If you want to drop $100 on a pan, it's going to last you 15 years. If you spend $5 on a pan, it's probably going to cook unevenly. So, I'm a big fan of Ameriware. Califon also makes some very nice pans. And yes, all this stuff is expensive, and you don't need very nice pans to cook well. But if you actually get into cooking, that should be one of your first investments. Okay, we're just going to kind of half chop these and then throw them in the freezer real quick. That's hot. Okay. I have to be careful personally because I've burned off most of the nerves in my fingertips, so I can actually burn myself without knowing it, which I've done before. Okay, let's just make sure real quick. Never hurts to check. Alright. So we're just gonna I'm actually gonna throw this in the actual freezer just to get it cool enough that I can chop it. Alrighty, where do I want to put this? Oh boy, messy freezer, messy life. That ain't that bad. Okay. Don't really recommend putting food in the freezer very often, especially if you forget about it. That's really bad. So don't do that. Alright, so really the rest of this preparation, very simple. Just going to be green onions, sweet chili sauce, curry powder, a little bit of mayonnaise, salt and pepper. 4 food pellets in the freezer, that's right. Where did my separator go? But yeah, the same with knives and most kitchen equipment. It's pretty standard that you're going to get what you pay for. Sure, there's some really overpriced stuff out there that most people will never need on the industrial level. Like some kitchen equipment's made to be used and abused every single day, but that is not the majority of stuff. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Lellaps? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Oh, hey, I'm still gonna need this. Let's put this back on there. I would say with anything, cooling anything down, the big thing is to make sure it's less than 2 inches deep while you're cooling it. So if you do that, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, for food storage, I recommend you gotta have at least one pan like this. Let's find it real quick. You want to have at least one pan like this. Doesn't matter how pretty it is, how nice it is. See, this one's really old, but this is what I'd use to cool stuff down, and this is a 2-inch hotel pan. So you can fill this up to almost the brim, put it in the fridge, and it's going to cool down safely. So you have to have at least one of those to cool stuff down. And then everything else, I use Tupperware. We've got a wide variety of Tupperware to put stuff in. It's just more space efficient than anything else. I mean, what are the Tupperwares I have? These are always the ones I use. Got pretty much every shape and size of these, and space efficiency in the fridge is always a struggle. Pampered Chef has some pretty good stuff, although I think it's overpriced. I would say if you buy a cast iron skillet, that can last you a lifetime. Those things are so well made. Oh yeah, you know I go to my weekly Tupperware parties. Hey, thanks a lot, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Wooden spoons are also a good buy. Yeah, that works too, Camtron. Yep, indeed, Cryptio. You're more than welcome to send me a message if you want to suggest something. I did a whole cast taking suggestions a couple weeks ago. Deli containers are great. Anything, for me personally, that stacks is good. Not really, Mental Bill. Most good pans have at least a 20-year warranty, if not a lifetime warranty. Cooking equipment is one of those things. If you see your grandma using set brand and they say this is the best brand of equipment I've ever used, when you go to buy a pan, you're going to buy that set of pans. So it's very much one of those things that gets passed down. So it is in the producer's best interest to have a very high quality product that lasts a very long time. And anybody that actually cooks a lot is very picky about their stuff. So if you make a shit pan, they're going to tell, do you like that pan? They're going to say, no, it's horrible. I'd never buy it again. And then they've lost a sale. Very nice, Little Penny. That's awesome. Silpats. Oh yeah, Silpats are the shit. If you're a baker, I'll just show this off here. If you're a baker, buy one of these. Buy one today. They're not very expensive. It's just a silicone mat that nothing will ever stick to. It's like the best thing for baking ever. All right, let's see where we're at. Getting there. Just gonna flip these over. Got like 2 more minutes and then we'll actually cut stuff. Not quite though. Oh yeah, sure, Camtron. They do have a million uses, even if you're not a baker. It's true. I mean, it's just a sheet of silicone which holds up to heat really well. It's really the best thing you can have for non-stick. It's better than any grease you can put on anything. Thank you very much, Crater. Very much appreciated. Reminder, we'll be going back to normal format directly after Cooking with Frag today. The only reason I keep it in sub only during the cooking show, I tried not to, but I have no way to moderate the chat. The mods had a really bad time, so this is more for demonstration purposes and talking about food than it is gaming or chat interaction. Cutting board is made of, I don't even know what the name of the material is, just standard cutting board material. I got it from a place that cuts custom ones, because I wanted a black cutting board. We're like a little over halfway, Ghost Boots. We're about to toss everything together here in just a moment. I got chicken in the freezer cooling down. We poached chicken in 180-degree water until it was done. Honestly, for home use, I prefer plastic, Mental Bill. While wood has natural antibacterial stuff in it, I find them harder to clean as a home cook. How do you know when a pan is too old or done? Well, when it starts flaking or it warps or it starts cooking unevenly. Yeah, wood cutting boards are amazing, but they are a lot of work, so, I mean. I've ran into one person, puke hole. I'm a big fan of bulk cooking, Big Monster. Depends on what it is, though. I mean, honestly, I don't have time to cook every day, so yes, sometimes I do cook food for 4 or 5, 6 days in a row. It's just more effective that way. Not really, Knock. Wood cutting boards are pretty safe. You have to clean them properly. Wood has natural antibacterial properties that keep them pretty safe. Alright, man. Here we go. Here we go. Where to put my knife? So all we're going to do now is cube the chicken. So as with anything, you cut it into strips and then into cubes. The way that I like to cut things, and I encourage people to practice, is if you're going to dice a lot of stuff, cut everything into strips and then cut everything into cubes. It just saves you time. If I'm cutting into strips and then cubes and then strips and then cubes and then strips and then cubes, it just takes twice as long. So if you do one process at a time, you end up saving yourself time. The same goes with just about anything. Like if you're going to quarter a bunch of mushrooms, if you cut them all in half first and then cut them all in quarters, you end up saving yourself a good third of the time you'd be spending cutting otherwise. It's interesting how it works out, but it is. You know, I'm not terribly worried about super fancy, nice dices on this stuff because, well, it's just a sandwich. In fact, I kind of like bigger chunks on this stuff. Okay. Another tip for mechanics, you always want to put everything you're going to cut on the left hand, if you're right-handed, on the left-hand side of your cutting board. If you're right-handed, it's going to go on the left-hand side, because when you cut down the knife, it ends up on this side. So if you have all your stuff over here, you're cutting and then having to push it back over. So this will indeed, even taking the time to move it over, is going to save you a bunch of time. Give my knife a quick steal. A horrible noise. Okay, that's that. Green onions. We're going to add a ton of curry powder to this. Now, this is just regular yellow curry powder. Probably end up adding a lot more than that, but we'll find out here shortly. So this is sweet chili sauce. One thing, if you don't know the joys of sweet chili sauce, try some. It's really good. It's a really oddly shaped bottle. Do the old ketchup thing here. There it goes. Now I add the mayonnaise last because I don't want to add too much mayonnaise. This is not about having a very heavy mayonnaise salad. It's about just binding it together. This is super simple. You can add more stuff to this. You can add grapes, cranberries, cashews, celery, onion. Really, anything you want to add is up to you. I'm actually sharpening the knife. I'm using a steel. I've covered it, I believe, on number 3. Cookign Frag number 3, and a couple other ones on the actual technique of it. But yes, I will go over it again at a later date. Okay. Taste a piece of chicken, see where we're at. It's so simple to make. It seems silly. Like I couldn't even put this in a cookbook. Cause it just seems too simple. But guilty pleasure for me. I love this salad. So what you're looking for in the flavor profile is the balance of the sweetness. Yellow curry is pretty sweet too, but you should get a hit of sweet on your tongue the first bite you take, and then have it finished off with the curry flavor. If you get the curry flavor first, you probably need to add more sweet chili. Yellow curry does have a little bit of a kick, but it's not nothing like a green or a red curry. So now we're going to add the mayonnaise and then finish the seasoning. The mayonnaise is really not very much at all. We're just going to add a spoonful or 2, and it will be good to go. So again, you can add oil and breadcrumbs. You can eat it just like this if you want to. You don't need the mayonnaise. It's just a nice binder. That's probably about all we need. Yep, that's more than enough. See, now I wish I would have made more. I'm hungry. Yeah, it's not really there to add flavor, it's to bind, so you're not even going to taste the mayonnaise in this. Almost. It stayed sweet for too long, so I'm going to add just a bit more curry, and then we'll call it good. Alright, that's it. It's that simple. All we did was poached chicken, add green onions, sweet chili sauce, curry powder, a smidge of mayonnaise. It doesn't even need any salt. We're good. So I'll be eating chicken curry salad sandwiches tonight, and probably tomorrow. I'll be very happy about it. Yes. Celery to add crunch. You can add dried fruit. You can add cashews, any kind of nuts. It's stupidly simple, and it's really tasty. So anybody can cook this. I will say you're not going to mess this one up. The worst that would happen when you cook this would be that you overcook the chicken a little bit, and it's still going to taste really good. It does. It's really good. I'm telling you, it's like so simple. It's so simple. It's stupid, and I almost feel bad demonstrating because it's such a simple thing. But bless it. It was one of my favorite things I learned how to cook in even a fine class kitchen. This is one of the cook's favorites. This is definitely one of the cook's favorites. We always made sure we made a ton of it because everybody would just have sandwiches for like 2 days. I would say something more sour like cranberry or a golden raisin would be better. Let's see if it has garlic in it. Let's see what the ingredients are in this. Yeah. Water, sugar, red chili, modified tapioca starch, garlic, acetic acid, and salt. Yeah, exact same process, Tunes. The chicken in the can is cooked the exact same way, except for it's just going to be a lot more moist and tender and not have that preservative taste if you cook it yourself. Oh, sure, sure. We probably added a little over a tablespoon of curry and just a couple tablespoons of chili sauce. You're really not going to mess it up too bad. Just add a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. What you're looking for in the salad is getting sweet on your tongue right away, and it finishes with curry. If you have too much sauce, if you have too much sweet chili sauce, it's going to add it's going to taste sweet for a really long time. If you have too much curry powder, you get curry on your tongue right away. You just mix it until it tastes good to you. And even when it's off balance, it still tastes really good. It's really just your personal preference. Just add slowly and to figure out what you like best. Usually with meats, Isabel, 6 or 7 days is the most you want to let it go. Yeah, you could do grilled chicken salad if you wanted to. It's not going to hurt anything. I would eat this on a nice whole wheat, but that's myself. That's just my preference. Whatever bread you enjoy the most. I like wheat or even white. There is no best. There's whatever you enjoy most. I can't tell you what the best food is. I can't tell you what tastes the best. I can't tell you what the best anything is. You can just eat it with a spoon. It's going to be good. Yellow curry is not inherently very spicy. It's not the normal kind of curry you think of. Um, Try it. You might like it. This would be great with pretzel bread. Absolutely. Well, Nocturnalist, the only way to enjoy food is to step out of your comfort zone and eat things you don't enjoy. Or you think you don't enjoy. You'll be very surprised on what you do enjoy. Midnight, it's very, very simple. All we did was add the chicken to 180 degree water and let it poach. That's it. Fair enough, Paladin. Fair enough. Alright guys, I'm going to cut the stream. I'm going to head downstairs. I will load up the stream. I'm going to come back upstairs. I'm going to eat a sandwich myself. And then we'll get back to the normal format. So I'm going to take sub only off as soon as the stream goes down. And then we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Yeah, indeed, Cryptio. Something you may have not liked 5 years ago may taste amazing now. Your palate's constantly changing. It's always worth giving things a second, third, and fourth shot, even if you wait a year to do so. So thank you all for watching. I hope that was simple and informative. Anybody can make that. Go make it for yourself. Go make something similar. Go cook it.